Welcome to the European Space Agency ESA. This is the Robotic Learning Centre, and I'm here to help you find out more about Newton's 3 laws of motion. Maybe you've heard of Newton before. He is the scientist who got hit on the head with an apple. At that time he was studying motion, trying to understand the concepts behind it and how they relate to things we experience in everyday life. When Newton recovered, he realised something important. He already knew that an object accelerates only when a force acts on it. Therefore, if the apple were moving, it could only accelerate if there was a force acting on it. He called this force gravity, and to this day we measure all forces, including gravity, in newtons. Newton came up with 3 laws of motion, laws that describe how forces and objects relate to each other. To help you out, I've asked some friends in Barcelona, Dublin and Erlangen to demonstrate the laws. I've also asked astronauts on board the International Space Station to help us. That's the ISS for short. So we're going to hear from Pedro Duque and Alexander Caleri. On board the ISS, gravity has very little effect, so everything there is almost weightless. Hi Pedro. That's a nice smile you've got there, Pedro. Not much is happening. The ball is just hanging there in mid-air. Pedro blows on it and it moves because of the force of his breath. And this time, nice move. Pedro changes the ball's direction by applying motion. This states that every object in motion or at rest remains in that state unless an unbalanced force is applied to it. The state of motion is the speed and also the direction. The two combined, speed and direction, are what we call velocity. An object at rest has a velocity of 0, and it stays at rest unless acted on by a force. We call this tendency inertia. Here you can see Pedro applying a force to the ball. He is changing the ball's direction, therefore changing its velocity. Ooh, that looks nasty, and that's why we use seat belts. If we were in a weightless environment like the ISS, then he would continue to move. I'm sure I don't have to say, don't try this at home. I'm sure I don't have to say, don't try this at home. So, that's Newton's first law. An object at rest stays at rest unless acted on by a force. And an object in motion will stay in motion unless acted on by a force.